Hey guys, hope you are all doing well today. So we have a matchup between the High Elves going up against the forces of the Dark Elves. So thank you for Red Legion for sending this battle. He was playing as the High Elves, and for his army we have a front line of Rangers. Either flank is gonna be populated by Spearmen. Standard, they'll just be trying to minimize any of the charges from the mobility of the Dark Elves, such as the Scourger and Chariots, or any cavalry. These guys will be vital for protecting the back lines. The back lines will be consisting of 3 units of archers, great value units who can slowly but surely pepper down most of the Dark Elf roster. We have for the cavalry 1 unit of Dragon Princes and 1 unit of Silverhelms with shields, so rather elite cavalry try and combat the Dark Elves' own cavalry units. We have a Star Dragon in the sky and Alarielle the Radiant, one of the toughest High Elf lords to take down, mainly because of her star. The star will be giving back 1000 HP to any units that get caught in it, and so really very tough to take down. Even in a blob fight where she gets bogged down, that star can just be a game changer. And that seems to be it mostly for the High Elf roster, so let's move on to the Dark Elves. Of course, the Star Dragon is the costliest variant of the dragon, and so the Dark Elves are gonna need some dedicated anti-large. And it seems like the Scourge Runner Chariots, along with some Cold One Spear Riders, will be forming the anti-large component of the Dark Elf army. So we have 4 units of Cold One Spear Riders, very powerful at taking down enemy cavalry units and large units if they manage to catch them on the ground. We have a front line of just simple Bleak Swords and Dread Spears who will be faring decently well. They'll probably be trading evenly with Rangers and Spearmen and the such, but they are backed up by Black Ark Corsairs and the Witch Elves. So Witch Elves are actually going to be probably the most important aspect of this build, mainly because their capability to rampage even the most expensive units allows them to really have a distinct advantage on the battlefield for controlling the mobility of the High Elves. So if they manage to hop on top of some Dragon Princes, Silverhelms, or the Star Dragon, which would be the ideal target, you can rampage them and force them to be in combat and then surround them with these Cold One Knights. So yeah, using these Witch Elves wisely is the way to go for victory for the Dark Elves. And we have for the Lord, Malekith, of course, coming in with Soul Stealer upon his Cold One mount. So also very powerful in this matchup. And that seems to be pretty much it. I believe there are 2 units of Dark Riders with repeater crossbows. Some of the most powerful skirmishing cavalry in the game will be very powerful with their armor-piercing missiles at taking down most of the High Elf infantry and cavalry corps. And with that, let's get this battle started. So Scourge Runner Chariots initially just shooting their shots into the Star Dragon, a very wise choice. Since their missiles are anti-large, they want to take down the Star Dragon's HP as much as possible before it comes down and lands, and probably attempts to goon out Malekith, but if you lower the HP right from the get-go, it will make this battle much more manageable. And the front lines are now engaging, and seems like the Dark Elves are actually going for some frontal charges. Their cavalry will just be going straight into the Rangers, who of course have no charged defense, but they will be intercepted mostly by Silverhelms. I believe Cold One Knights will trade better with the Silverhelms due to the fact that they have anti-large capabilities, and they also have 3 units populating this area. Alarielle has lost a ton of HP, but of course a Star of Avalorn is going to be turning the tide in this battle, with a dragon likely coming over. A breath attack over here could be very dangerous, could do a ton of damage, and look, here it goes, man, that is going to do so much. Actually didn't do too much damage against the Cold One Knights, but of course when he lands he will be able to do much more damage. And seems like the Cold One Knights have actually been dealt with relatively effectively. We actually have 1 unit of the Sisters of Avalorn, I didn't catch that. So 2 units of archers and 1 unit of the Sisters of Avalorn, and they were essential in taking down the front line of Cold One Knights. There are still a couple healthy units who will be getting into the back line and shutting down these sisters. Seems like Malekith has overextended a bit in an attempt to shut down these sisters, and will be paying for it dearly with a dragon and Alarielle the Radiant pouncing on him, ready to eliminate him from the battle. The archers are doing a very good job of screening out the Cold One Knights. Anytime they seem to be posing a big threat to the backlines, the archers focus fire them and knock them out of the fight. The Witch Elves, unfortunately, not in the greatest engagement. They are being knocked out of the fight. Ideally, they'd want to hop on top of Alarielle and the Star Dragon, keep them on the ground, forced to fight the Dark Elf units, and in that case, they will be losing HP very, very quickly. Malekith also on the verge of death, though a Soul Stealer could save him if it hasn't already been popped. Yeah, Malekith is just so low. He really, really has to disengage, but it seems like he will not be recovering from the Star Dragon and Alarielle's might. The good news for the Dark Elves is the fact that the Star Dragon has lost a ton of HP. I'd say consistent fire from the Scourge Runner Chariots, along with a surround from the Cold One Knights, has allowed the Dark Elves to do quite a bit of damage to the dragon, but of course Alarielle is close by, and a star can be popped if required. The Star Dragon is attempting to escape, but at this point he is surrounded by mobility, and he probably will not be able to successfully evade the Dark Elves. Alarielle has managed to leave the fight though, luckily, and will be chasing Malekith to the edge of the map. Spearmen on either flank still holding relatively, actually, I don't know where the other spearmen went. Yeah, spearmen are still holding relatively well. They have a decent amount of melee defense. Yeah, 50 melee defense actually, so they will be holding for a very long time against the Dark Elf spearmen, who have a similar amount. Yeah, 40, so yeah, I believe the High Elves will be winning that. But the big thing is the fact that Malekith has been routed off the field, and Alarielle is still very, very healthy. Luckily for the Dark Elves, the Star Dragon has been routed from the battle. A Frost Protection, not really sure if this was required, but if he does take some damage on the way out, it would minimize that by a little bit. His leadership is coming up, so I believe he will probably return. And it seems like a lot of the Dark Elf roster is running from the fight. 3 units of Cold One Knights. Actually, the dragon won't recover. He has a lot of leadership though. 67 leadership and he runs away. Wow, surprising. But 3 units of Cold One Knights will be running from the field. It's a relatively small map, so there's really no chance for majority of these units to recover. The High Elves are now pushing their forces together, trying to make a last stand. Seems like the biggest strength, I'd say, of the Dark Elves at this point would be these Scourge Runner Chariots. These would not be Witch Elves, right? Yeah, no. It seems like the Witch Elves were also forced out of the fight, and so there's really nothing to force Alarielle to remain in combat, so she can just cycle charge everything on the High Elf roster to death. The Scourge Runner Chariots will now be playing more of an anti-infantry role, and of course they are pretty well suited to that, considering the fact that they are chariots. So they'll be running through archers, they'll be running through spearmen relatively well. Along with these Blackheart Corsairs, we'll be routing a couple of the High Elf infantry, though an Earthblood does get popped and will be healing this giant blob of High Elf units. And a huge Star of Avalorn will be likely knocking the Scourge Runner Chariots out of the battle, since everything in this giant blob will be getting over 1000 HP in healing, and the Scourge Runner Chariots either have to disengage or be knocked out of the fight. And seems like they will be knocked out of the fight, and the fact that they're so close, oh, well, that's army losses. I was gonna say they're so close to the edge that they will be eventually just forced to leave anyway, but army losses does kick them out of the fight. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that battle. Pretty fun one with the High Elves and the Wood and the Dark Elves facing off in a classic matchup between brethren, which I believe would be High Elf favorite, as demonstrated by this match. Alarielle the Radiant and her Star are just so powerful at healing up units, infantry units, dragons, really anything that gets caught in there, and really can be a game changer, as I mentioned at the beginning of the battle, and it was, as you can tell, by the end. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this battle. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.